In almost every culture, there are folklores and myths about entities that many people believe are real. Some have claimed to have had personal experiences with these, and for some it's left scars. Some of these creatures have sent chills down the spines of those who have claimed to have seen them face to face, while others feel they mean no harm. So today we'll be taking a look at 5 mysterious entities. Witchcraft in ancient cultures. Archaeologists have managed to uncover evidence that shows us that summoning spirits dates back to 30,000 years ago. This would have been during the Paleolithic period. Witches are believed to have lived among men during this era, and although it may sound silly, back then it was taken seriously. The Anglo-Saxon word Wicca, which meant craft of the wise, is where the word witchcraft comes from. Witches in old times were regarded as wise because of their knowledge about herbs, nature and spell casting. Science has yet to prove the existence of witchcraft. However, ancient cultures of Egypt, Greece and Rome believed that witches had special powers given to them by the gods. In ancient Sumeria and Babylonia, the witches studied demonology because they believed the world had demons living in them. In some cases, these demons turned into individuals and the only way to battle them is to use magic spells, amulets and exorcisms. The Greeks conducted rituals to be able to communicate with the gods. The story of King Saul in the Bible, which is assumed to have been written between 931 BC and 721 BC, also records the existence of witchcraft when he sought the witch of Endor to call the dead prophet Samuel's spirit for help. The Celts between 100 and 700 AD prospered because their magic was likely the most powerful in Europe. Aside from being gifted artists, musicians and metal workers, they were deeply spiritual people who had their religious beliefs in different gods, and had great ability in performing spells and making amulets and potions. The hunt for witches was pushed, however, when people began to lose trust in these beings. The fact they were able to do things that others couldn't caused mistrust. This and the fact they weren't understood led to them being literally hunted down. The Sigbin of the Philippines. Lurking in the darkness waiting to pounce on humans is a beast in the Philippines known as the Sigbin. It's said to look like a goat without horns, possessing a long tail that can be used as a whip and ears so big they can clap together. Just as goats emits a bad smell, the Sigbin's scent is said to be really bad. It's said the Sigbin only comes out during the last week of the Christian Lent, but has the power to be unseen by other creatures, particularly humans. Its walking pattern is awkward as it walks in the reverse direction, while its head is lowered between its legs. While it roams about, it's said to be always on the lookout for humans. This is because humans are its favourite prey. As the story goes, the Sigbins are owned by certain families. Every member of this family keeps their Sigbin in a container made of clay, and has the ability to order it around as they want. The Sigbin is also known to be the pet of 2 mythical creatures in the Philippines, the Aswang and the Wakwak. The Aswang is the most feared shape-shifting creature in the Filipino folklore, while the Wakwak is a bird-like creature that acts like a vampire. There are people who believe that the Sigbin might not be real, and might just be an animal that's hardly seen. Some suggest the shape of the Sigbin indicates it could be some type of kangaroo-looking animal, while others believe the stories were just created to scare the local children. With that being said, there are different reports of Sigbin seen around the Philippines. In one of the reports, an elderly man encountered one of these Sigbins, and it's said that he was never the same after encountering this creature. The Loveland Frogman. The Loveland Frogman is said to be a massive frog around 4 feet tall. According to myths, the first sighting of the Loveland Frogman was in May 1955. Just like any other myth, the story has 3 different versions, with each version similar to the next. The different versions begin the same way, with a businessman or salesman driving along a street in the evening. Each version then diverted, with one version having the driver noticing 3 creatures around 4 feet tall. This was while he was leaving the Branch Hill neighbourhood. In the other two renditions of the story, the animals were spotted under or over a bridge. The man watched these creatures for a while but had to run for his life when one of the creatures sprayed a mysterious particle-like substance in the air. Each creature looks like a frog with rough skin. Although this story sounds completely made up, there have been a few people that have come forward with a similar encounter. The following experience with the Loveland Frogman came around 2 decades later on the 3rd of March 1972. Ray Shockey, a police officer, was coming into Loveland from the Riverside Drive when he saw a creature crouching like a frog along the road. When the creature stood to climb over a rail guard, the officer got a good look at it and said it was around 4 feet tall. 2 weeks later, Officer Matthews, who was Ray's partner, was driving in a similar territory along the Little Mammy River. Shortly after, he saw what he thought was a creature laying in the road. While he carefully approached it, the creature stood and climbed the rail. It was said to have had the same features as the creature that was encountered by his partner. A more recent encounter was reported by Sam Jacob and his girlfriend. They were playing Pokemon Go in the area of Loveland when they saw what they described was a large frog-like monster. Once again, the couple described the creature as being around 4 feet tall. As of today, no one can explain this creature or knows what's going on in the area of Loveland. The Yowie of Australia. A particular type of folklore amongst the Australians having its roots in Aboriginal history is a creature that resides in the outback known as the Yowie. It bears many names but is most commonly known as the Yowie. This creature is said to be approximately 7 to 12 feet tall, having hair all over its body like an ape and being able to emit deep vocalizations. It's also known for having a nose that's wide and flat. Different people have different opinions about their behaviour, from being short-tempered to shy. There are different opinions about the origin of the name. The first documented reference to the name Yowie was in a book by William Ridley. Other authors believe the name was coined out of the Aboriginal legends of the Yahoo, which has a resemblance to Yowie. According to a journalist by the name of Margaret Jones, she wrote in one of her columns that the first sighting of the Yowie was far back in 1795. In recent years, many people have claimed to have had encounters with this creature. In the Australian Capital Territory, a man said he saw a young creature in his garage, saying it was hairy and had arms reaching the ground. In New South Wales, different accounts over the years have been presented, which all point to the Yowie existing. A music videographer staying in Lismore said he saw a Yowie north of Bexhill. In all of Australia, a part of southeast Queensland called Springbrook has the highest number of reported Yowies. One of such report was by a man in late 2014, who claimed to have met different Yowie creatures and had conversations with them. He was able to do this by teaching the male species the English language. One of the most popular Yowie hunters is Rex Gilroy, who has been on the hunt since the 1970s. With over 3,000 reports collected on Yowie, Gilroy says he's identified 4 different species of the Yowie, and they are related to the Bigfoot family in North America. Night terror entities, also known as shadow people. It's common knowledge that many people are afraid of the dark, and at times their eyes tends to make things worse by tricking them into seeing a simple item transform into something frightening. However, different people all over the world in large numbers have encountered similar frightful sights called shadow people. These figures are believed to have been in existence since the beginning of time, and are regarded as impressions of living human shadows. In ancient Europe, it's reportedly believed that shadow people had a deep desire for humans, and they need them in order to survive. In April of 2001, an American late-night talk show Coast to Coast AM renewed people's interest in the shadow people. This was by listening to callers' encounters and even asking people to send in images of these alleged creatures. However, there are people who do not believe the existence of the shadow people, but relate the phenomena to sleep paralysis, which itself can be a bad thing to go through. There are different opinions by devoted members of the paranormal about whether shadow people are either good, bad or harmless. Some believe shadow people are ghosts, while others feel they're either aliens, interdimensional beings or even demons. One of the most infamous shadow people is the Hat Man. This mysterious entity is known to wear an old-fashioned cape and a hat. Many people who have had an encounter with shadow people claim the figures was usually male in shape, and around 6 feet tall and in some cases having glowing red eyes. Many report these mysterious creatures don't speak, and that they don't communicate with the person. Some even went further by reporting that shadow people attempted to choke them and even at times pounce on their chest. Whether they're real or not, it would be wise to stay away from anything that resembles a shadow in the night. So what do you think of these 5 mysterious entities? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries.